I did skip a day. I apologize. It's probably going to happen more the closer the kids go to school and the more that the kids are in school. But I'm going to try to keep them up daily until I run out of things to say, because it has been therapeutic for me, ironically. I think I'm going to try to go back a little bit to the diagnosis of the SPS officially. I mentioned that I talked to my daughter about suicide a little bit. But I also want to remind people that while I've consistently said that I'm a stubborn pain in the ass and I do things that I know are going to make me sore every day, that's my choice, and that doesn't have to be your choice or anybody's choice. It's just how I choose to live my life. And my other suggestion in terms of living your life is to actually live your life. I can't remember if I've talked about this in a previous episode or not, or channel, or I don't know what these things are called.
How many channels do you have?
Shut up. My daughter's giving me a hard time. We went to Alaska because that was on my list of things to do, which was a lot of walking around, a lot of foot cramps, a lot of calf cramps, but totally 100% absolutely worth it. I wouldn't change a thing. Went to Vegas with my husband, again, a lot of walking around. We were actually supposed to go to Puerto Rico, but there was a big hurricane and we had to change our plans. We took the kids on a cruise. And actually, I mean, honestly, we have the means to do this right now. Maybe not so much, but before we did. So I know this isn't something that everybody can do, but you can still try to do things that are going to let you enjoy your life and not sit on your bum and be saddened by the hand that you've been dealt. That can happen too, trust me. I cry in the shower, I drink a glass of wine. Eventually I'm probably going to tape one episode with a glass of wine in my hand. Just because that's what kind of day I've had. So, you know, those things are all an important balance. But if you have the means to do so and you have the means to do things that are going to make memories, that's a huge suggestion of mine. Do things that are going to make your life enjoyable, because there are days that are not enjoyable, and we should be able to have both. We are able to have both. Give yourself a chance to have both. Don't give in to just the frustrations of the disease that you're facing, or the SPS, for instance, that you're facing, but try to have some fun with it too. I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of the things that my husband's actually tried to has had me do since we've lost my vision, to prove that I can still get out there and be a person that's actively doing stuff that maybe she didn't think that she could do. My SPS is a very tricky thing. I'm very sore basically every day from whatever I've tried to do the day before. I was in and out of the hospital have been in and out of the hospital since for most of June and a little bit of July, and have mostly just been walking. I've done a few yoga, tried to do a few yoga things from my brain, from memory, and I tried to do one yesterday. I'm extremely sore today from that. So I woke up having to heat my shoulders, and it's probably going to be a long day. But again, these are choices that I choose to make for myself. It seems like simple stretching, but when I haven't really been working out for 2 months, it was more than simple stretching for me, for somebody with for my SPS, how it affects me. The SPS treatments, I would say that I have tried and am on 2 different benzodiazepines. I take 1 pill in the morning, and then I take 2 sets of 2 in the evening to help me sleep and not have spasms while I'm sleeping, so that hopefully I don't wake up too stiff. And then I've also added melatonin to the regimen, because even though I was on a fair amount of benzos, and you would think that that would knock a cow out. I was still having trouble sleeping, and even though I know theoretically melatonin doesn't work in the drowsiness kind of way, it's supposed to work with your circadian rhythm. For some reason, it seems to help, so I've added it to my regimen. Those are the only oral medications that I'm on for the SPS. Every muscle relaxant that we have tried has either made me too drowsy or just hasn't seemed to be as effective as the benzos, or just hasn't worked. Either hasn't worked or the drowsiness isn't worth the, I still need to function did need to function during the day. Not so much anymore, but, I'd still like to do as much as I can. Like I said, we did start IVIG about 1.5 years ago. The most benefit I can say that I initially saw from the IVIG was that I got my voice back. I was really sounding like a frog at the end of almost every day. And now I just sound like a frog a little bit of the time. We were a little concerned that the IVIG might have been part of the toxic culprit. We'll get to that later. We don't think that that is the case, but when talking about whether or not we want to come off the IVIG or not, the alternative is the opposite. So IVIG is IV immunoglobulin, which is actually putting someone else's immune system in my body to try to make my body stronger. The opposite of that would be to put me on autoimmune medications that are usually oral, that would lower my immune system to see if I could respond in the opposite direction. And with COVID and everything going on right now, that's not something that we're really willing to risk. When someone asks me if the IVIG is working, I don't really know how to answer that question. If I wasn't on the IVIG for the last 1.5 years, I don't know where I would be. So I can't answer whether or not it's working 100% because I have been on it. So I don't know what kind of decline I would have if I hadn't been on it. So it's kind of a tough question to answer in all honesty. The last thing that we've been trying is Botox, which can kind of be its own separate topic that we can talk about. Maybe next time I can talk about the Botox a little bit. So takeaway from today is medications that I'm taking or have tried, my continued stubbornness, and just remember to continue to live your life, because it's your life to live, and if I don't have any regrets about anything I've done. We renewed our vows last year after being married for 15 years, and when I look back and I think about the fact that I thought to myself, part of the reason I was doing it was I wasn't sure if life was going to let me be alive for my children's wedding, which I certainly hope that it will be. I will continue to fight this for as long as I can. There's no reason to think that I shouldn't be. I might just be walking really slow, but I wanted us to all have a wedding where we were standing and happy and pretty and enjoying every second of it. And now that I can't see, is all more precious that we actually went forward with that and did it. It's ironic because I was really driven to do it last year in a way that I can't explain. But now it makes sense because I have that. And no one can take that away. And no one can take that away from my daughter either, or my son or husband. But my daughter and I had a perfect day together that I would not give back for the world. So live your life.